Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Zufar bin Muhammad Raziman, matrix number 2400297, and I am from Bachelor of Shariah. So today I would like to talk about Islamic economy. So let me start with a question. Have you ever wondered why does modern world, despite all its wealth, technology and intelligence, still struggle with poverty, inequality and injustice? Some nations are overflowing with luxury, yet millions still sleep hungry. Some people can make millions overnight, while others work their entire life just to survive. Is this what we call economic progress? You see, our world today swings between two powerful but flawed systems, capitalism and socialism. One breeds freedom, the other demands equality. But both, when taken to the extreme, end up creating more harm than harmony. And right in the middle of this chaos stands Islamic economics, a balanced system that unites both freedom and fairness, material growth and spiritual peace. It is, as the title says, the middle path between capitalism and socialism. So, in order to understand the uniqueness of Islamic economics, we first need to understand what capitalism and socialism actually stand for. Capitalism, in simple terms, gives individuals complete freedom to own, trade, and accumulate wealth. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Freedom, innovation, opportunity. But what happens when that freedom has no moral compass? It becomes a system where greed rules. The rich grow richer and the poor are left behind. Profit becomes more important than people. Workers are exploited, prices are inflated, and debt through interest or riba becomes a tool of oppression. On the other side, we have socialism. Socialism tries to fix inequality by giving the government full control over resources and wealth distribution. The goal sounds noble, justice and equality for everyone. But when the state controls everything, people will lose their motivation to work, to create and to innovate. Because without personal ownership, society loses its drive. And without freedom, equality becomes emptiness. So, we can see both systems carry extreme weaknesses. Capitalism empowers the strong, socialism weakens the strong. And both, in their way, ignore the spiritual side of human beings. Now, some countries attempt to find a balance between these two by adopting a mixed economy, a system that combines the elements of capitalism and socialism. In a mixed economy, the government plays a role in controlling certain sectors while allowing private business to operate freely in others. For example, healthcare and education might be public, while industries and trade are privatized. At first glance, this seems balanced. However, it still relies on human design policies, often driven by a political or economic interest rather than moral guidance. What's considered right or fair in a mixed economy can change depending on the leadership or market conditions. Now, let's turn to Islam, a system built not by human theorists but divine revelation. Islamic economics isn't just about making money or collecting wealth. It's about creating a balance between individual rights and collective responsibility. Islam recognizes private ownership. You are allowed to earn, to invest, and to profit. But Islam also places boundaries set by Allah to protect fairness, honesty, and compassion. For example, Islam prohibits riba or interest because it exploits people's needs. Islam forbids cheating, hoarding, and manipulation in trade. Islam also commends zakat, a form of wealth purification that redistributes a small portion of wealth to help the poor. And Islam encourages waqf, charitable endowment that support education, healthcare, and community development. In other words, Islam doesn't kill freedom like socialism does, and it doesn't glorify greed like capitalism does. It gives you the freedom to grow, but reminds you of your duty to give back. As Allah says in Surah Al-Hashr verse 7, so that wealth may not merely circulate between the rich among you. that one verse summarizes the essence of Islamic economics, a system that values growth but anchored in justice and humanity. Now, imagine what would the world look like if Islamic economic values were truly practiced. No one would go to sleep hungry while another person wastes food. No one would drown in debt because of interest. The rich would share not out of guilt but out of love and faith. And business wouldn't just be about money, but about serving people with honesty and ihsan, or excellence. Islamic economics doesn't only aim to distribute wealth, it aims to purify the heart, because in Islam, money is not just a currency, it is a test. It can lift your status or destroy your soul. That's why the Prophet ﷺ reminded us, the best of people are those who are most beneficial to others. And isn't that what a true economic system should do? Benefit people, bring harmony, and build justice. Now, let's bring it closer to our life as a students and a future leaders. We might not own companies or run banks yet, but every day we make economic choices like how we spend, what we buy, and what we value. When we choose halal over haram, when we help a friend in need, when we donate even a small amount sincerely, that's already part of living the Islamic economic spirit. Our challenge is not just to understand these principles, but to apply them in modern times, like in business, in finance, and in personal life. In a world obsessed with how much, Islam teaches us to focus on how pure, not just how much we earn, but how clean our earnings are. Not just how rich we become, but how beneficial we are to others. Ladies and gentlemen, Islamic economics is not an outdated system. It's a timeless solution. It offers what the world has been searching for: a balance between body and soul, profit and purpose, freedom and fairness. It reminds us that true success is not measured by how much wealth we collect, but by how much barakah or blessing we gain from it. So, when the world asks which system is better, capitalism or socialism, right now we can confidently answer neither. The real solution is Islam, the middle path of justice, compassion, and balance. So, that's all from me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.